located in Tallahassee, Florida. Metro market area. I've got about 300,000 people around me. Not a big market at all. A little history about me. I started Spray Wash in November 2009. I was a real estate developer. Went just completely kaput, belly up. I was the guy that literally, I took my my Polaris pump off of my pool to make a soft washing rig, and went to Home Depot and bought a home like pressure washer, and was out doing stuff for stupid cheap.
Thank you for letting me get back.
And just, we've grown this business, we really just from the bootstraps, you know, very from the bottom, on a budget. A lot of my friends rag on me that I'm still kind of cheap, and I am in a lot of ways, just because of the humble beginnings. In 2011, I had grown to a point where I was just completely maxed out. I was me and then I had 2 helpers, but I could not do anymore. Convinced my beautiful wife Tanya to quit her job and come on board with me, and ever since then it's just been fantastic, and keep growing. You know, each year 10 to 20% or so. We finished up this past year right around 750,000 or so. It's been a wonderful thing. I think this is one of the most fantastic businesses you can get into, and it's not about the biggest, the best. I mean, it's whatever you want to strive for. If you want to be the guy that does the, you know, I want to make a comfortable living for myself and do it right, it's good on you. I mean, it's the way to be. The most important part is just, you know, at the end of the day, you're safe, the property's safe, and the public is safe, and you get paid for it. We're calling this class the Magic Bullet. Kind of, you always say, all right, what's the magic bullet? How do I do? What works? And so we're going to get into this. We're talking about the business, and we're taking this in the terms of guns and shooting and bullets. I think it's something a lot of us guys and women can relate to here. So if you want the magic bullet, before you get out there and do the magic bullet, there's a lot more going into just getting a magic bullet. I mean, there's a lot of planning that goes into this. What are we going to shoot with this magic bullet? How are we going to shoot it? What are we going to shoot? What's our target market? What type of jobs do you want to take on? Are you equipped for these jobs? You don't have to buy everything right now, but you must research it. You know the price, you know where to get it. Part of the joy of this business that, you know, I know that if I bid on I don't do paver sealing, but I know that with seal and lock, I'm 2 days out from getting everything that I need by mail, and I can get out there and get the equipment. I know I've been to many of the trainings before this. I can get plenty on the phone. I mean, I can get trained, you know, with a little primer course, you know, same day. I could take on a job like that competently, so I don't need, you know, 50 gallons of sitting in my warehouse waiting to do it. Same way with the pressure washer. I mean, if I needed to equip another crew for a big upcoming job out there, I know that Paul can get me stuff drop shipped in a quickness. I had a new door go out in between the week of Christmas and New Year, and I had literally 2-day shipping on that new door. Another testament to how awesome the UAMCC is. The freight carrier messed up, missed my shipment. They missed picking it up in Jacksonville to get it to Tallahassee. We had a UAMCC member go to the freight terminal, pick it up, and I went and picked it up at his office. I drove over 2.5 hours. So just a fantastic organization to meet people. So we have to identify what we're going after whenever we do this targeting. And the targeting is different than just, okay, I'm throwing ads up. The targeting is saying, I want to do Walgreens. I want to do retail. I want to do government work. And we're going after the people that can get us those businesses versus just doing an advertisement. We're spending our efforts on marketing, not on advertising. We spent very little money each year on advertising. I have a yellow page ad that I know a lot of folks think is kind of archaic. Ours still works. Go figure. I advertise in some homeowner association newsletters, but that's literally the only advertising that we do in our company. Now we spend a lot of money on marketing. We spend, you know, and Tanya will say this in her presentation, bottles of wine, mouse pads, dinners with people, notepads, things like that where we're actually getting in there belly to belly with the customer, giving them this information. We're targeting them. Because if you're running a newspaper ad, running a flyer or something, and sticking it on cars, sticking it on people's doors, you're not necessarily going to be getting in front of the person that you need to get in front of. What are we going to shoot? We got to build it or buy it. So figuring out what we're actually going after, we're either going to have to put our company together, we're going to have to get it whole or get pieces together. This is our planning stage. What is it we're going after? What specific tools do we need to hit our target? You're not going to be effective, 100 yards down range with a pistol. Well, some people are. I'm not. You're going for 200-yard shots. You're going to need a really good scope on that. And tie this back into pressure washing. You want a commercial job that has a $2 million insurance requirement. Well, you may not have to have that $2 million insurance requirement right now, but you're going to need to know where to get that $2 million insurance. You may not have workers' comp right now, but you're going to need to know where to get it and have that relationship set up so you can pull the trigger on it. Bam, if you go in there and all of a sudden you get a job, and yes, they have a workers' comp requirement. You're all planning part. You're getting your stage together. What pieces? Insurance, workers' comp. Are they going to require drug testing at the job site you're going to? I've got 2 accounts that do require us to submit clean UAs. I do a lot of work. I've got an FDLE level 2 background clearance for the state of Florida. Have to have clean criminal records. These are all just things to think about whenever you're working with your guys and you're going after some of this bigger stuff, because you don't want to realize your crew chief, your guy that you rely on the most has got some old felony raps on his sheet and smoked pot every day of his life for the past 20 years, and he ain't gonna pee a clean UA for 6 months until all the crap gets out of the system. So just little things to think about. And I'm not saying, it'll be unrealistic for me to sit there and say, okay, I want nobody that ever smokes pot ever to work for me, because it ain't going to happen doing what we do. But you better have some guys on your crew that can pass a drug test doing some of this. All of these accessories are things that you need to add to your weapon. And you may not need it now, you just need to know where you can buy this stuff whenever it comes time for it. And that's a 300 black belt. Choices. How many different gun calibers are there? I was actually writing this class, and I was sitting at my desk, and I'm like, I need a bullet. And so I'm like, oh wait, I got my shotgun here in the corner. This is at my office, this is my house. Right there, the small one, that's my 380. That's my daily carry gun. That's the gun that I keep in my pocket. My carry gun could be considered my residential house. I mean, that's my good old, reliable, my thing that I have with me. We don't have to only shoot one gun. We can shoot lots of different guns. In fact, sometimes specialty can be the death of you. Targeting is a specialty is great, but you say, well, I specialize only in warehouses, or I specialize only in airports. Well, you might starve waiting for your next airport to come around. So most of us do residential to keep that machine fed, to keep the oil, the wheels greased. I have a hood and maintenance crew. I have a commercial crew, and I have a residential crew. The commercial's great. The large scale commercial's fantastic. fantastic. But we did a $55,000 project for the Florida Capitol earlier this year, and it was a 90-day payout on that. You know, unfortunately, my guys, the lift company, or my chemical suppliers would wait 90 days to get paid. So we had a lot of expenses on that job, and our residential is what kept us going while we're waiting on that money. 300 WSM. I don't remember the Winchester 300 Winchester short mags. Never understood why Winchester came up with those short mag bullets, but I bought a 300, and I thought it was the greatest gun in the world. Kicked like a mule, so accurate. But you get out to some, Butt Crack, Arkansas, and no mom and pop shop has a 300 WSM. Now everybody has it. You go to a convenience store out in the Benny's that sells fish bait and ammo, and they're going to have 243s. They're going to have 30-06. I look at this as talking and relating this back to the over specialization. You get something real luxury, you better pre-plan on that specialization. Otherwise, your suppliers may not have it. Go for an obtainable market as your primary weapon. I want to do airports. I want to do rubber removal from airports on there. Again, like I said a moment ago, you may starve on waiting to get that, or you may find out there's only about 4 companies in the nation that do projects like that. So don't get too specific in your targeting. Don't get too narrow in what it is you're looking to do. Always be on the lookout for other targets. Target fixation. You see this a lot with when they're talking about active shooter training and stuff, and I'm looking at Tim coming through the door there, I'm looking at him, looking at him, but there's somebody right over here, So always keep your field of vision open. Always be on the lookout for other targets of opportunity that you can pick up. We're all talking about government work. You'll hear me talk government a lot. I do a lot of government contracting. Government's huge, and we'll get into that in just 1 second. Targeting does not mean you can't switch your targets. Like we see on that little shooting gun right here, we have several targets in our view at one time. We don't have to just fixate on one. If I target government work, doesn't mean that all I do is government work. I don't have to say, well, I'm a government specialist. Doesn't mean I don't do houses. I do a lot more houses than I do government work. I'm still a government specialist. It means I need to learn about the target that I'm going after. Don't get caught flat-footed about not knowing what you're going after. And when we talk about knowing what you're going after, it's your research that you're giving to your people. I mean, Google is such a wonderful tool. Other cleaners in other markets are such a wonderful tool. Call them up and say, hey, Ray, you do government contracting. What is some of the stuff that I need to worry about whenever I'm doing a contract, whenever I'm doing a government project like this? Every one of these, Walmart has their own special requirements. Walgreens has their own special requirements. Different levels of government have their own special requirements. So you find out, everything you can about, it's like in politics they call it opposition research, when you find out whoever you're going up against, what all is in his background. It's kind of like the opposition research. You're finding out everything you can about your potential customers. And sometimes it's even on the interview, why are we talking? Why are you talking to me? Has there been problems with cleaners in the past? Have you had issues with things? Let them tell you what their hot points are whenever you're going in. It's an interview process. So much of what I find folks doing is a show up and throw up type thing. I'm the master, here's what I do, here's what we're great at, and so on and so forth. Well, you haven't actually asked what that customer's concern is whatsoever. It turns out that what they were unhappy about was the noise of the equipment running at 2 a.m. in the morning, waking up tenants. We did a hotel up in Bainbridge, Georgia, and it was great. The owner said, her biggest problem because there was one commercial cleaner that came there, and he's like, well, we're going to do this at night. We're going to do this at night. And she was like, that's absolutely, I have a hotel. I have a full occupancy hotel. I don't want somebody pressure washing at night. And could you imagine, how freaked out my customers are going to be whenever a freaking pressure washer hits their window at 3 a.m., you know? So find out what they care about. We talked about the government, how just big government is. This list of potential things, and I want you to think about how, when we talk about government contracting, just how huge government is. Parks. We've got city, county, state, national parks, electric facilities, water towers, utility departments, city buildings, county buildings, animal shelter, civic center, city hall, tennis courts, municipal tennis courts. Tallahassee's a big tennis area. You know, there's just tons of tennis courts out there, and most of them I've washed for the city of Tallahassee. Municipal pools. We do our municipal pool area. They have what we call a big marshmallow over the top of it. And every November, just before Thanksgiving, they put up this inflatable dome to keep the heat in for the wintertime, and we have to go spray the inside of the dome out to get the mildew. Respirators are your friend on that job. Municipal pools also, we have solar water heaters on that, collectors, and we scrub those down to get the algae off of those to make them more specialties. Great little specialty if anybody's not doing that, but cleaning solar panels. Clean up real easy. Water-fed pole, soft brush, kill the algae on it, and just work fast because they get real hot. Work fast and just keep the soap active on there and then rinsed off so it doesn't spot up. But we found it to be a great little subspecialty of ours. Colleges and universities. My second biggest customer is Florida State University. State government buildings and structures. Jails, detention centers. Tallahassee, we've got the government mansion. Department of Transportation, bridges, toll plazas, travel plazas, rest areas, graffiti removal. I see the state of Florida putting out bid requests for DOT bid requests all the time. Federal buildings, courthouses, hospitals. A lot of hospitals are government cooperation, public-private thing. Colleges and universities, and whenever you get in colleges and universities, you've got the buildings, you've got the dorms, you've got the stadiums, and typically speaking, you've got different managers for all.